Hey guys! This is Cartoon Recapped. Today we'll show you a 29-24 comedy adventure cartoon called Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Fowl. Be aware of heavy spoilers. Sit back and enjoy the show. The film opens with a flashback showing how Wallace and Gromit foiled the plans of criminal mastermind Feathers McGraw. The evil penguin tried to steal the blue diamond and was locked up in a high-security zoo. Inside his cell, Feathers stares at a newspaper clipping of Wallace and Gromit as he sets his sights on vengeance. In the present day, Gromit feels that they have too many gadgets in the house that Wallace has tried to use to make things easier. While Gromit is tending to his garden, Wallace shows off his latest invention, a helper android gnome, the nifty odd-jobbing robot, or Norbot. Wallace demonstrates Norbot's efficiency by having him work on Gromit's garden, which turns it into something that displeases Gromit. At the police station, Chief Inspector McIntosh is dealing with overzealous new officer, Feathers McGraw. She points out several flaws in the supposedly escape-proof cell that is holding Feathers, but McIntosh sends her out of the office. The local news becomes aware of Norbot and how Wallace's invention helps out around town with various tasks. The news report is seen at the zoo, which Feathers watches and starts to hatch his sinister plan. Before he is put to bed, Feathers swipes a glove off a security guard who does a sweep in his cell. Wallace and Gromit go to bed, but Gromit is kept up by Norbot having to loudly recharge himself. Gromit places him in the basement to charge from Wallace's computer. Back at the zoo, Feathers uses the glove along with a mechanical arm to use the station's computer to hack into Wallace's personal computer files. He changes Norbot's setting to evil, and Norbot begins to build something of his own. In the morning, Wallace and Gromit discover that Norbot has built an army of other Norbots. Thinking they are going to help others, Wallace sends them out into town to perform the various tasks that they have hired Norbot to perform. Gromit is suspicious, but Wallace insists on letting the Norbots do their jobs. This leads to them stealing several items from the neighborhood, which leads McGraw to suspect a crime wave is afoot. McIntosh, worried about the negative attention he might receive, tells McGraw to bring Wallace in and book him as a suspect. Gromit catches the Norbots up to an evil scheme, but when he tries to warn Wallace, they appear as good little bots just doing their jobs. McIntosh and McGraw arrive at Wallace's home, but when he tries to show them the Norbots, they are all gone. The police confiscate Wallace's inventions based on their suspicions of his involvement in the criminal activities. The townspeople begin to riot against Wallace and his inventions. Gromit takes it upon himself to investigate the Norbots. He takes out his motorcycle at night and follows the bots to the zoo, where he discovers that Feathers is behind everything. The evil penguin spots Gromit and has the original Norbot try and do away with him by dropping Gromit into a lion enclosure while Feathers boards a submarine to escape. This causes Norbot to fall on his back, which resets him to his primary good mode. Norbot saves Gromit from the lion and also gives him a crazy haircut. McIntosh and McGraw are at the city museum to present the blue diamond, only to discover that it was replaced with a turnip. The diamond had been switched before Wallace gave it back to McIntosh the night that Feathers was first foiled. Gromit witnesses the scene before running back home and finding Wallace tied up by Feathers and the evil Norbots. Gromit gets tied up too and left inside a cupboard while Feathers breaks open an old teapot, which is where the blue diamond was hidden all along right before the police brought him in. Feathers leaves the two as he makes his escape, but Norbot helps Wallace and Gromit break out using a leaf blower. The heroes pursue the criminal as he makes it to a canal on a narrowboat. Wallace and Gromit take McIntosh's boat, leading him and McGraw to pursue on a bike. McGraw sees that Feathers is the real criminal and not Wallace. In their pursuit, Wallace uses a stash of McIntosh's boots to fire at the Norbots to reset them and make them good. Gromit hops onto Feathers' boat, but Feathers sees that the police have blocked his exit out of the canal. He steers the boat to go sideways across the aqueduct, leading Gromit to hang over the edge. Wallace pleads with Gromit to give up the blue diamond to Feathers for his own life since he cannot bear to go on without Gromit. The dog tosses the diamond to Feathers, who then hops off the boat to let Gromit fall. The Norbots form a chain to catch Gromit from falling while the boat falls and explodes. Feathers hops on a train heading for Yorkshire. He pulls out what he thinks is the blue diamond, only to see with disappointment that Gromit switched it with another turnip. The diamond is returned to the police, and Wallace is exonerated. Macintosh retires from the police force, while Mukherjee is promoted and sets her sights on catching Feathers, who is still at large. Wallace goes back to inventing, but he leaves personal things, like patting Gromit, to himself. The two friends then share a toast to another job well done. Thanks for watching. Hope you all enjoyed, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel.